Hello everybody. Alright, so it's time for part 3 of our video series, home defense, home protection, and home preparedness. Okay, but now before we get into the actual preparedness, let me talk to you about something right quick. I have the utmost respect for anybody in emergency services, police department, fire department, EMTs, paramedics, emergency rooms, nurses, doctors, okay? And I'm definitely not trying to disrespect any of those people or any of those services. What I'm trying to do is make you understand that those people are working as hard as they can on a day-to-day basis, okay? On a day-to-day basis, they're already overworked, underpaid, and mostly ignored. So when something bad happens, and it happens all the time, those services are completely maxed out. Okay, so it's up to you to get yourself ready and your household ready for any of those situations that you may have previously thought, I'll just call and have somebody come out. Okay. So, with that being said, excuse me, with that being said, there again, no disrespect at all, okay, for anybody in those jobs, okay. This is not about that. This is about you getting yourself ready and getting your household ready for any sort of situations, okay. So here's what I've done, okay? And you don't have to get this detailed if you want to. However, I would suggest that you sit and think long and hard about it before you make the decision not to do this. I have 3 notebooks. I have 1 notebook for immediate need. I have 1 notebook for short-term need. And I have 1 notebook for long-term need, okay? And the reason I have these is to help me and my house get ready for scenarios, right? Situation. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to get your notebook, and I want you to write at the top a scenario, a situation. Okay. Now what I'm using, you might want to use as well. So what I'm using is bad weather. So you got a weather-related situation, okay? Civil unrest, terrorist attack. Now, whatever you got to use, okay? If you're one of those that believe in the zombie apocalypse, hell, write a situation about zombie apocalypse. If it helps you get ready, okay? So, what you want to do, and we're going to use weather just as an example for today. Now there again, some of the things that I talk about may not affect you at all because you live in a different area than I do. You may have more problems because of the area you live in than I have. You know where you live, you know the situation you're in. For example, if you live at the coast, you know it's almost time for hurricane season, right? So you get over about hurricanes. If you live in the mountains, you get a whole different situation up there as far as bad weather and snow and ice. You know, if you live out west, different situation. You get tornadoes, right? So you need to know about your area. So, in my notebook, under weather related, what I have, and is, you know, if bad weather happens, right? What's going to happen? Well, bad weather happens, then we have possibility of losing power. Okay? So, if we lose power, do we lose our ability to cook? We lose our ability to heat. We lose our ability to have hot water. Right? So that's in my list. Right? So, we don't have any lights. We don't have any heat. We don't have a way to cook. We don't have a way of refrigeration. So, like I said, that's in my list. All right? So after I've gone through my notebook and I made all my list for my different situations, my different scenarios, then I go through and I write down what I need to do to prepare for that situation, whether it's an immediate need, a short-term need, or a long-term need. I know what you're thinking, what the hell are you talking about? Aren't they the same thing? Well, no, because like most people nowadays, you're on a budget, right? You don't have an unlimited source of money that you can go out and buy a storage building and have it with a dehumidifier, and you have air and heat put in it that you can store food and fuel and everything else at a constant temperature and constant humidity, and have it, stockpiled with, 3 years worth of food and water, right? Not everybody can do that. So if you're working on a budget, the best way I have found is to budget towards immediate needs, then your short-term needs and your long-term needs. Now for me, what I consider an immediate need would be any sort of situation that left us in a bad place from a day to about 3 weeks. That's our immediate needs. Short term goes from about 3 weeks to about 6 months. And then long term would be anything from about 6 months to about 2 years. Okay? And the reason I break it down like that, because that's how, in my head, that I need to budget for. So, there again, using, bad weather as an example, then for immediate needs, right, we need food, we need water, we need lights, we need a way to heat a room or heat the house, right? So what am I going to do on my budget to get past that immediate need? Well, and when we go to the grocery store, we buy, an extra box of oatmeal, or buy an extra bag of sugar. It's really easy to prepare food if you buy a little bit at a time, right? We keep bottled water in the house anyway, and then, and everybody's got a water filtration system, a personal water filtration system. So, at worst case scenario, we could collect rainwater and then filter it to have clean water. So my next immediate need would be some way of heating and cooking, right? And that's in my budget, and that's the next thing I need to do for my immediate needs. Because you can't drag your damn propane grill in or your charcoal grill inside and try to heat and cook off of it. You will die. Don't do that. Okay. There's plenty of alternative heat sources that you could also cook off of that are safe to use indoors. Just do a little research. But then on that same situation, when we get to my long-term notebook, right? In my long-term notebook, I've got an alternative energy source, which is solar. We're planning on using solar here as an alternative energy source. Those are expensive, so that's why it's in my long-term need, so I can budget a little bit aside to be able to put in solar energy. Okay, so immediate, short-term, long-term, right? Okay, same with food. Immediate food in short term would be things like you bought, dry goods, beans, rice, canned foods. You've got to remember to cycle those through. You can't throw in a box, leave them in the building for 5 years. Okay, you'll have everybody in the house sick or dead from rotten food. And in long term, of course, we grow a lot of food here. So in the long term, not only will we be growing food, harvesting seeds from that food to use the next year, but we're also dehydrating, canning, processing, and freezing, that food. So to supplement any of the other dry goods that we put up, or anything that we vacuum pack or Mylar bag. Okay, so there you go. Immediate need, short-term need, long-term need. Right? Food's covered, water's covered. Heat's still an issue for short-term, but that should be solved within the next couple of weeks, for us at least. They make an indoor propane heater that has a battery-powered fan, and it uses a little 1-pound propane tanks, or you can get an adapter hooked to a 20-pound propane tank, and they have oxygen sensors built into them, so if the oxygen level drops, it shuts itself off. And then battery-powered carbon monoxide detectors. Okay, so that's a simple solution to, you know, not freezing to death when the power goes out. Now, some of you may have a wood fireplace or a wood stove in your house, you know, so then that would not be a concern for you. Okay, so you'd have a different situation to deal with. Making sure you have wood on hand, making sure you had the chimney cleaned, you know, that kind of thing, right? So get your notebooks together, short term. I mean, immediate, short term, and long term, and then that way, once you've got the notebooks together, you've got your scenarios written out, what you need to get through those scenarios, and then you make your shopping list from those scenarios. Then it's a lot easier to go, okay, this week let's do this, or this month let's do this, or let's save up for 2 or 3 months and do this. Okay, if you start panicking and just start buying things randomly, or wait until you can do it all at one time, then what's going to happen is you're going to find yourself in a situation, in a scenario with nothing to do except a bunch of panicking, a bunch of planning that you never follow through on. Okay, so once you've got your notebooks, you write down your scenarios, you write down your list, and when you get something on the list, you check it off. Simple. And what you'll notice as you're going through your list is you'll find the holes that you have in your home protection and your home defense as well. Okay, when you're writing out your scenarios, you go, well, crap, I need this. You know, I don't have any fire extinguishers, or I need more first aid in the house, or, you know, we need a way of securing the windows. You know, we need heavier blankets, whatever, right? Once you start writing those lists and you're getting prepared, then you'll find those other holes and you'll be able to take care of those holes as well. Okay? Pretty simple stuff, I know. And then, I said that, and we truly understand working on a budget, so that's how we do. And that's what I have found is the easiest way to do it. Okay? Instead of sitting around going, well, crap, I can't do anything, I can't afford anything, I don't have the know-how, I don't have the ability, I don't have the time, write it out. Okay? Take as long as you need. You know, take a couple weeks and sit down and write it out. Work out plans with the people that's in your house or that's in your group, right? And then follow through. Okay? So you don't have to do it all today. You don't have to do it all within 2 weeks. You ain't got to do it all within 6 months. The first step is the hardest step, I promise. Okay? Once you sit down and you start writing in these books and you figure out a plan, you figure out your scenarios, you figure out your shopping list, and then if you don't make it any farther than your immediate plans, then that's at least a start. Okay? But you got to start somewhere. Now, I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm not trying to you know, be a ghoul or act like that. All I'm trying to do is, for me, is take care of me and, you know, my family. And that, to me, that's the biggest priority I have in my life is my family. And watching the news every day and seeing how this world is going, then it's made me very, very concerned for my family's safety, and I want to do something about it. So that's what we're doing here. You know, we're getting ready for any sort of scenario that might come our way. We're not doing it at one time. You know, we're working in a budget, just like you're working in a budget. But you can't get anything done if you don't get started. So take the first step. Okay? Get your 3-day bag together. Right? Go back and watch all 3 of these videos and see what you can do with what you currently have in your house, right? Without buying anything. You know, everybody's got a camera, a digital camera of some sort on their phone or in their house. You can go ahead and get all your electronics and personal items photographed and store the pictures if you haven't done that yet. You know, one step. Once you get started, then it's just easier just to go through. Okay? There's plenty of resources out there available for you as well, right? There's books on the library, there's books on Amazon. You know, for those of you that are members of the, you know, Uncle Steve Facebook page, there's all kinds of experience on that membership that you can, you know, just ask a question. hey, I need help with this. Can anybody point me the right way for that? And if you need to actually talk to somebody, you never know. If you ask a question, there might be somebody in your local area who can answer that question for you, right? We just moved here. What kind of, bad weather can we experience this year? That sort of thing, right? So anyway, next week we're going to change up a little bit. We got a little surprise for you next week. We're going to try something a little fun, right? Spend a little time outside. And I know it's still cold, but it's time to start preparing for other things, right? So I promise the whole show is not about doom and gloom. We're going to try a little something different next week, okay? So make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And then by all means, if you have any comments, please leave comments below. And then if you know anybody who could benefit from these videos, please, spread the word. Send them a link to the video, send them a link to the channel. And like I said, just take the first step. The first step's the hardest. Once you do that, everything else will fall in place. Okay? Uncle Steve loves you and wants you to be safe. Have a good night.